why we are shouting about the Doctor Who Feminist Front in all its forms. The Doctor taught us it's wrong to impose on others, even if you feel justified. Using MeToo allegations to gain power and advantage is wrong, and it's also exploiting victims, not helping them. The police are who you have a moral and legal duty to talk to, and you should do that immediately and prove that publicly, ideally by posting crime numbers once the cases are formally started. Yes, bring forward such allegations if justified by testimony or evidence. We absolutely support that. But taking revenge on past abusers by turning the show into a fuck you to them, and by extension by everybody else, is wrong. It makes you no better to turn the show into an advert for your survivor's cult. It doesn't make you better than anyone else, and it doesn't make other people evil or your enemies. It is not the story's fault if a writer is a criminal. The world is full of non-criminals who would have done the job. But we understand victims themselves can be too traumatised and intimidated to say anything themselves, especially at the time. And if that applies to you, some of you now, years later, there are other, better ways to deal with that anger. Many words of Capaldi's Doctor immediately spring to mind. You've made a show based on that revenge, but you haven't understood why Jodie doesn't work. You know what you want her to represent, and some of it is pretty stalky and predatory sounding behaviour. Someone really should tell you that. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. It feels like you've got a bit of a problem and you're doing a lot of projection. At least that applies to a lot of what we have seen of your content. But you don't really know what you want her Doctor to be or do or say other than symbolise your idealised image. Jodie herself doesn't understand the show at all well, based on what she told David Tennant, and her own words describe going into scenes completely blind to what she was aiming to achieve, and just being told to get on with it. It's no wonder her performance has been such a huge disconnect. You forgot to actually make good Doctor Who as a cover for what you've been up to behind the scenes. So busy have you been strategizing its demolition. By doing so, you left huge red flags only the willfully blind can ignore. We are not going to accept a Dr. Yaz lesbian relationship, and we will raise such a stink between now and January. If the BBC shows it, the country will turn against them. You have no idea how dangerous using the show to say fuck you to the Islamic patriarchy is in the current climate, and we wonder if MI5 has an opinion on whether that's a smart plan. True, some of you do want the BBC destroyed, but the BBC could just shelve series 12 now and not show it at all if we raise enough controversy. We will not let you advance your agenda any further unopposed, nor will we ever be silenced or go away. We deal in truth and transparency. You absolutely cannot and dare not, and that is why our victory is certain. You cannot match our energy, nor stand scrutiny, nor can we be intimidated. Yes, we do want the BBC to respond to all this, and other media. However, both are in many ways corrupt. The BBC has the whole country turning against it for its EU brainwashing. It's turned on the pensioners. It's absolutely doomed politically. The licence fee is probably kaput at this point. There's an open rebellion going on, the lawful kind. So, we also are prepared to resolve this situation directly with you. If you are prepared to treat with us, a way forward is possible. It would be based on allegations being made to proper authorities, which we can then support with campaign action, which we can really deliver. And on a peace treaty, where, as long as you are not culpable personally for anything criminal, you can have your say in the show, but we will ensure the whole fan base has writers and creatives they have confidence in also equally involved in Doctor Who creatively. And all MeToo stories will be told so we can recognise society has corrupted people to do bad things, and that has affected the show. One thing we can agree on: the BBC has not been a good guardian of the franchise. If they had, this would not be where we are today. It turns to us then to ask the question: as a fan base, men, women, young, old, can we take care of the show better? Up the revolution, sisters? Sure, we are game, as long as it gets done right. There is a great awakening going on. Haven't you noticed more and more people don't buy the bullshit? We challenge you to expand your thinking, to take a risk, and to talk when it comes to revolution. Not my Doctor Who are experts.